Are you ready to launch your podcast? It's time for Podcast Now with Restream, the live show that helps you plan, produce, and launch your podcast with the power of Restream. Here's your host, Ian Anderson Gray.
Well, hello. Welcome to Podcast Now with Restream. It's all about building your podcast and live video studio today. I've just moved house and I'm going to be sharing with you what I've been doing to rebuild my studio. And because this is a fairly small room, I'm going to share with you some of the stuff that you can do, even if you have quite a small space. So let me know where in the world you are watching from, what you're doing in the world of podcasting or streaming, and how I can serve you and help you today. Oh, this is very exciting. I can see, oh my goodness, we've got Doc Rock in the house. Great to see you, Doc. And I could definitely do with a few tips from you when it comes to studio building. But I hope you agree my background is a little bit better. It's just all very new at the moment. Hassan is here saying, love the countdown and intro. Thank you, Hassan. Great. A lot of fun creating that using Wave Video and Music Radio Creative. Who else have we got here? We have Chanel watching from Pune, India. How are things doing there? And we've got Raphael watching from Panama. We are a completely international audience today. Great to see you. I'm streaming live from just south of Manchester in the UK on the Restream channels, on my channels as well. Well, it's awesome to be here talking about podcasting in particular, but also live streaming. I'm going to be sharing with you what I've been doing today and thinking about really for the last couple of months. Let's be honest about it. This show, as always, is powered by my friends at Restream. It's the complete multi-streaming suite for entrepreneurs. It allows you to broadcast to over 30 different destinations at the same time, either using what I'm using today, Restream Studio, or you could use another tool like Ecamm Live or OBS Studio, and it integrates really beautifully. So I love what I'm doing here with Restream. If you want to find out more, if you want to sign up for and get a whole month free, this is a special discount. If you go to iag.me/Restream, iag.me/Restream. Now we need I don't know, do we need some cheering at that point, or we need a timpani roll or something like that? We need something exciting, or maybe we need this. Something like that, something very exciting, because Restream is awesome. My name's Ian Anderson Gray, and I'm from the Confident Live Marketing Academy. I help entrepreneurs level up their impact, authority, and profits through the power of confident live video. So if you want to level things up, that's what I'm all about. So if you've just joined, let me know where in the world you are watching from, and if you've got any questions when it comes to live streaming or podcasting, because that is what this show is all about. Dan is in the house. Great to see you, Dan. Hope you're doing well. Saying, I'm always open to info to step up my streams. Aren't we all? Now, I'm going to be totally honest as I share what I've got today. This is not a perfect setup or perfect solution. It's really important to say there is never going to be a perfect solution and setup. We're always looking, as Dan was saying, we're always looking to level things up, but you've got to start somewhere. And that brings me on to another really, really important point, which is you don't need to start with a really complicated and expensive system. I started those 5, 6, 7 years ago in the live streaming world with just a very simple microphone and a webcam, a C920 webcam from Logitech. That's all I had back then. So you don't need anything that's like really expensive or mega, but you just need to get started. You need to get your confidence in front of the camera and also in front of the microphone. And microphones are really the most important thing when it comes to live streaming or podcasting. If people can't hear you, then they're going to switch off. And I think you can agree with me on that one. Who else have we got here? We've got Coach Tabitha Inspires watching from Detroit. Great to see you. And we've got the fabulous Martin Buckland watching from Toronto, of course. One day I will get to Toronto. I don't know quite when. So let me know if you've just joined and where you're watching from. But I want to share with you my studio. So we've just moved house, and we were living in rented accommodation before. So there's a limitation to what we could do, particularly in my background. I've always been frustrated by my background. It was a white wall, and I couldn't really put very much up there. Sometimes I used a green screen just to improve things. But now that we've moved house, I've been able to do some cool things. And one of them is to get that nice brick effects behind me. Now, I'd love to know from you what you think about the brick background. It is actually wallpaper. I think it looks pretty impressive. I quite like the brick. It looks almost 3D. And I've got good lighting. Which I'll share with you in a minute. Now, unfortunately, I don't think you can see it, but there are some lights down there. I need to work on that. That will change color. I need to get a longer cable, and I've got a standing desk as well. So yeah, it's all good. John Berry is in the house. Is saying the way I go about it, I aim for the best setup I can afford without breaking the bank. So I went for a multi-thread PC. Awesome. And I think that is a really important point. The most important thing in your live studio isn't actually your microphone or your camera. It's your computer. If your computer can't cope with a setup, then you're going to really struggle. And so a really good multi-thread PC is excellent. If you're in the Mac world, then I highly recommend getting a Mac Mini. The M1 Mac Minis are perfect for live streaming using Restream Studio on its own or with Ecamm Live. Works really beautifully. So yeah, just something to think about. But if you're in the PC world, yeah, there's so much you can do on that. So that's lovely. Coach Sabbath inspires. I love the lighting and background also. Thank you. Yeah, it's something that I've been working on. And Doc Rock, yes, totally agree. The M1 minis are a treat at $700, and that's only 8 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of hard disk space. Now, if you've got a bit more money, go for the 16 gig. But even with the 8 gig, you'll be absolutely fine for your live streaming and podcasting needs. It just screams. It really does. Is that the right word? It screams your streams. And I'm actually going to be ordering a Mac Mini, an M1 Mac Mini very soon. Currently, my Intel-based MacBook Pro is just actually kind of struggling with some of the stuff. So an M1 Mac Mini is going to be great. And at some point, I will get a PC as well. Street Talk Daily Podcast. Is that right? Have I got that right? Yes. Can we use a green screen? Yeah, you can use a green screen. At the moment, you can't use them directly with Restream Studio, but I think that is coming, the ability to have that. So at the moment, you'd have to use Restream Studio with OBS on a PC, for example, or you could use Restream with Ecamm Live on a Mac, and then you just take out the green and replace it with something else. I haven't got my green screen up at the moment. My green screen is actually at the front of my studio at the moment, but I will get that set up at some point. And John Berry is saying, XSplit has good cam software that can remove nearly any background, but it is not perfect. Yeah. So XSplit is another live streaming tool, works with Restream Studio. Most of them have the ability to do that. So OBS Studio, for example, has the ability. vMix, also Ecamm Live on Macs also has the ability. So yeah, or you could use, there's another one, I think it's called HMMHH or something. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, you can do stuff like that. Works really well. Street Talk Daily Podcast says, what Mac do I purchase? Seriously, if portability is not like a big thing, if you're, and I think for most of us, we're going to be in a fixed place, in a fixed studio. And so for that, M1 Mac Mini is what I'd go for at the moment. Or you could go for the iMacs. If you want everything integrated, that's great. But there are, if you already have a display, if you've got a keyboard and a mouse, then Mac Mini, and as long as it's the M1, you will be laughing. It is amazing. That's what I'm going to be getting next. So yeah, definitely. Street Talk Daily Soft. If I can get the words out today, sorry, podcast says, I don't own any Mac technology, so where do I start? Yeah. So I think for you, I would say Mac Mini, get a, it depends on your budget, but you can buy some very inexpensive monitors, displays. Just get the Mac Mini with a keyboard, a mouse, and you'll be sorted. If you want any more information on that, let me know. Okay, right. So shall we do it? I'm going to share with you the build of my studio earlier today. So hopefully this is going to work. Let's play the video. Oh, I enjoyed putting that together. So yes, so you don't need all of those things, but I know that a lot of you like to be inspired by different things. And so this has been something that I've been building over the years. I'm a big believer in bootstrapping your live video studios. So it's important to start off with a decent computer. Then the next thing I think is a good microphone. We've talked about microphones on the show before. I'm not going to go into that again. I've got the Heil PR40 microphone. I love it. It works really, really beautifully. And then after that, I would say after your microphone, we could talk about mixers and interfaces and things like that. Now, we'll talk about that in a second. Next thing, of course, is camera. But one thing that I've been wanting for ages is a standing desk. Now, at the moment, I'm standing up. And this was one of the questions actually I got asked before, which is, should I stand or sit for my live streams? And it kind of depends on lots of different things. Personally, I prefer standing because I just have more energy that way, particularly as an introvert. I tend to, if I go live, I love going live, but at the end of it, I feel very drained. And so I need to put more energy into it because the camera is this energy sucking device that takes all my energy away from me. It's also better for your posture. And I just think for your breathing and all those kind of things, it works really, really well if you're going to stand. But for more chilled out lives, for other types of, if you're okay sitting down, if you can check your posture, then sitting down is going to work a lot better. And so I'm going to do something I've never done before on a live stream. I'm going to sit down on this. And to do that, I just click the button. In fact, let me just show you. Let me just see. Hopefully this is going to work. If I go to Epoch Cam, there we go. Okay, so I'll just show you my setup here. That is my second display. I'm going to sort out displays. I'm going to come up with a better solution at the moment. At the moment, I'm using my MacBook Pro. I've got a second screen there. And over here, I've got my trusty Rodecaster Pro. And this is my microphone. Heil PR40 microphone with the shock mount. I've got my nice little mic flag there, completely optional. I've got Heil boom arm there. Let's go down. I've got two Stream Deck XLs, completely overkill for most people, but because I do a lot of live video production, I did actually find that I run out of buttons when I just had one Stream Deck. So got two Stream Decks there. What else have I got? Oh, over here, look. This is So what the desk that I've got at the moment is available in the UK and in Europe. If you're looking for ones in the US, there are loads of really good quality. Let me just change back to my normal camera. Loads of really good quality sit-stand desks in the US and Canada. You're spoilt for choice, actually. And so, but in Europe and in the UK, the one I went for is Frisker desk, and it is beautiful, really, really beautiful. And yeah, so all you need to do is, hold on a minute. It's too much. There you go. You see? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down. That's the controls. Okay. Oh dear, this is a bit weird. So let's get the right. I think that's a bit too. Is that good? There we go. So now I'm sitting down. I'd love to know from you watching. Does this look different now that I'm sitting down in front of my desk? I think I've got quite a nice posture here. I think it's working quite well. But I'd love to know what you think about that. And then I'm going to take you through everything we've got here. Oh, Hassan is saying, very nice. Yes. Janet is saying, love it. And Doc Rock is saying something about energy in the camera. Give the camera more energy than you think. It's stunning how much energy Talking Heads videos require. Totally agree. And this is, I teach something called, it's called, if I can get my brain in gear, it's called Heightened Authenticity. And it's important to be yourself. So I see some people put so much energy into it that it kind of looks uncomfortable, and you should never look uncomfortable. You should always look yourself and always sound yourself on a live stream. Otherwise, quite frankly, it's exhausting for your audience. So that's really important, to be yourself, to be authentic. But as Doc Rock is quite rightly says, it's surprising how much energy you need to put into your live streams, because the camera is this energy-sucking device. It's this inanimate object that just is a bit of a diva, actually. It just requires so much more than you think. Now, if I just spoke the way I normally speak, like this, so like this is probably how I speak. Now, if I speak like this for a whole live stream, you're going to switch off, aren't you? So I have to raise the level a little bit more. And there are 5 different levels in Heightened Authenticity. Number 1 is what I just demonstrated, which is you're just talking to one other person. Now, you do, in one respect, want to feel that you are speaking to one person. It's a very intimate experience. But the thing is, remember, the camera is this energy-sucking device. So that is level 1. Level 2 is, imagine you're speaking with 3 or 4 people. Okay, so the energy level goes up a little bit more. And then level 3 is you're giving a workshop to 20, 30 people. And so the level goes up even more. And then you're doing a video. And so the energy needs to go up even more, which gets you to level 5, which is completely ridiculous, which is you giving a keynote in front of 20,000 people. I'm not saying that idea is ridiculous. It's just, it's going to feel ridiculous because you are giving the best talk of your life in front of 20,000 people. And it just feels ridiculous. But if you practice it at those different levels, when you get to level 5 and you feel uncomfortable, you probably will find that that is about the right level for you in front of the camera. Now, loads of other things we can talk about raising the energy and then dipping down and putting pauses into your lives as well. It's important that you give some space as well. Don't be afraid of silence. Okay, so what's this? No different to me. Good framing. Well, that's good. Awesome. What's Doc saying? I like the... What? I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about there. I forgot that. Anyway, 5 levels. I'm don't know. 5 levels of IAG. Love it. What have we got here from Dario? I don't think I can understand this. Yeah, sorry. My language knowledge is not great. And that demo of energy is amazing. Thank you, Doc. It's kind of my big thing. It really is. So, okay, let's talk a little bit more about all of this. So let's go back to my Epoch Cam and we'll do some sharing. Is this going to work? Oh no, it isn't working. Why isn't it working? Why is that not working? Let's try again. Let's just reset that. Epoch. Hold on. Let me just check one thing, because at the moment, no, it's okay. So because I've actually got two Wi-Fi networks, and sometimes I found that my phone goes on a different Wi-Fi network to Epoch Cam. So let's try that again. Okay. Epoch. No, come on. Come on, come on. Is it going to work? That would be really annoying if it doesn't work. Try again. Oh, well, never mind. It's not going to work, is it? That's really annoying. Really annoying, because I wanted to show you a few things in front of the camera. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I can do. Is I can go on the downwards camera. Okay, so there you go. So one of the things I did, which you might have seen in the little video I showed before, is I've got one of these mounts. It's the Elgato multi-mount, and I've got that, and I've got a little C920 camera up there. It's not the best quality camera, but it just means that I can highlight things here. For example, I can highlight. I can show you the Rodecaster Pro there. I can show you my. Actually, I can't really show you much else at the moment because of the way it's all set up at the moment. But yeah. Anyway, that's one thing you can do. Let's have a look here. What? Yeah, I can't see who this is because Facebook is not giving your name. I would always use a cable with my phone. That app's glitchy. To be quite honest, I've not really had issues with that. And you see, the problem with a cable is it's just the cable's then flapping around a bit. But you're quite right. Cables are, well, most of the time cables are more reliable. Except when they're not. And I actually found that it kept on disconnecting. Maybe with my old phone, I don't know. The actual connection, the lightning connection, just wasn't working so great. Oh, it's Adrian Salisbury is in the house. Yes, great to see you, Adrian. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for all that you do. And I've learned so much from you, particularly in the area of lighting and cameras. If you have not checked out Adrian's video on why you shouldn't use ring lights, you should. I just love that. Basically, Adrian says that if you use a ring light, you look like an alien. Now I've offended everyone who's got a ring light. No, it just, yeah. Anyway, another. Let's not talk about that. Oh, the plant is what Dot Rock was talking about. Yes, I didn't know that's you're talking about. What did you say? Yes, it is a beautiful plant. Not real, but it is what it is. And Martin is saying, yes, public speaking is very tiring, especially a 7-hour workshop if you have just landed after a long flight. Oh, my goodness. Yes, I don't think I could do that. So keeping cool in when things go wrong. Absolutely. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. So I don't know if you could let me know what you're referring to. Is it free? I don't know which one you're talking about. And Dario, I'm so sorry. I don't understand. I think that's Spanish. I could do with a little translation. Let's see if I can I do a little translation? Maybe if somebody could translate that for me, I will quite happily help. So let's see if that is going to work, because I was hoping to show you a bit more of the studio, and if it's not going to work, I'm going to be very sad. So let's have a look. Is it going to work? Yes, it is. It is going to work. That's what I want to know. Right. Okay, cool. Well, let's talk about this little baby first of all, because this is a teleprompter. Now, I have to admit this teleprompter is not the most beautiful one in the world. But it works. It works. And I've coupled it with this nice little remote control here. This is actually from a different one. This is from the Parrot Teleprompter. And I really like this one. It's nice and simple. But yeah, this is the teleprompter here. I don't use this for a script. I use this basically just to remind me what I'm doing. So you can probably see if I just, is this going to work? So you can see here, if I go down, welcome to episode 9 of Podcast Now with Restream. So it just basically reminds me what on earth I'm on about. And then behind that is the Canon M50 camera. So that's the one I've got at the moment. At some point in the future, I will be getting a Sony, but I'm very happy with it. It works really well. Okay. Now, I want to talk about lighting first. So I really like these babies. These are the Elgato key lights. They're not cheap, but the thing I love about these is they just work beautifully. The lighting, it just really leveled things up for me. And the other thing is, if I just drop down here, I can show you the Stream Decks. These Stream Decks are really cool because they allow you to assign scenes on different software. You can also do sound effects. For example, you've got all these little buttons here. So you got those, but down here, down here, you can adjust the volume, not the volume, the brightness of the Elgato key lights. So if I click on that, it's going to make it darker. So you might be able to see if I just go over there. That's going darker, 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 darker. In fact, if I swap over to here, you can see that I'm pretty dark now. Okay, you can hardly see me. So just brightening it up. So it's really good without having to go round and change the settings in front of the lights. You can just do it that way. And you go, right, that's probably a bit too much. Yeah, that's probably okay. Maybe a bit. Yeah, maybe something like that. Okay, stop it, Siri. I'm not talking to you. Okay, so let's go back. So that's that. So we've got the Stream Decks down there, which work really well. One thing I've got here is I've got a little phone mount now with a mag light, which is cool. And then over here is the Rodecaster Pro. Now, I have talked about this before, but just a little bit more about this because I think this is really cool. So, as I say, I've got this Heil microphone here. This is not a USB microphone. So it's XLR. If I want to connect that to my computer, then I need some kind of audio interface. And so it kind of depends. If you go for a microphone like a Samsung Qtu, which is another microphone I really recommend, I've got it in a box over there. Can you tell we've just moved house? In fact, let me just show you this because this is authenticity for you. Okay, let's go over here. Okay, so look, beautiful studio, boxes, okay? And it's a bit of a mess. But in there, believe it or not, is my Samsung Qtu microphone. Now, the Samsung Qtu microphone is a great budget microphone. It has USB, so you can plug it directly into your computer and you don't need anything else. It just works beautifully. I know if Carl is watching, Carl is saying, where have you gone? I'm still here. I'm still here. Hopefully you can hear me and see me. Don't worry me, Carl. You're stressing me out. Hopefully the stream is still going, but that's not what you want to say to somebody when they're streaming. So Carl has a Samsung Qtu. I believe you love it too. And you can plug it directly into your computer. But the great thing about the Samsung Qtu is it also has XLR as well, which is, I suppose, the more professional type of connection, which allows you to plug it into some kind of audio interface. Now, what a lot of podcasters and live streamers are now using is the Rodecaster Pro. What is the Rodecaster Pro? What is it? By the way, I can see somebody's talking about the M50 Mark II. I will get back to you very shortly on that. Oh yeah, Carl's saying when the lights turn down. Yeah, that's where I went. It's all right. It's fine. I was only teasing you, Carl. I know you can take it. But yeah, it's... I've had my disasters in the time where the stream's gone, or I've had power cuts and all this kind of stuff. So you never know what could have happened. So the Rodecaster Pro is a lot of things in one. This is why I really like it. It's not particularly cheap, but the thing about it is it's not just a mixer. A mixer's great. You know, I can mix different microphones. I can mix sounds from my computer. It's also got sound pads and things like that. But also it allows you to process your sound. It will really add some extra quality. It will get rid of background noise and things like that. It's amazing at what it does. And so if you have the budget, I would highly recommend getting a Rodecaster Pro. I've used other things in the past. Let me just see if I can get this actually. One sec. Here we go. What you want? Yes, I am here now. Everything's falling over. So this is what I used to use. If it gets in focus, that's one problem I find with the Canon M50 camera. The autofocusing is not great, but it's one of these. And it's always hilarious, this, because my camera never focuses on the Focusrite. This is the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. So it allows you to plug in, hold on, there we go, 2 microphones, 2 XLR inputs, and it also has a little bit of processing in there. It will, you know, boost your voice a little bit. So these are great. These work with Macs and PCs. You can plug your XLR microphone into this. It's kind of almost like a mini mixer in one sense. So they work really, really well. And I use that. I'm not going to get this out because it is at the bottom of a box over there, and you know it will. Yeah, it will not be a nice sight. But the other thing that I had was a DBX286S. Now, what on earth is that? So that is a preprocessor, basically. And what it does, when you record a podcast, you can go afterwards and you can process it. You can remove background noise. You can enhance your voice, which is cool. That's great for post-processing for later. But when you go live, you can't post-process. Well, it's not going to do any good for your live audience. So you have to pre-process. You have to process your voice before it gets out there. And so that's what the DBX286S does. It allows you to get rid of background noise. It has a noise gate on it. It has lots of other really cool features, which I won't go into now. I've talked about it before. But for a lot of people, it is a little bit difficult to use, to get set up. I really loved it. I still will probably use it from time to time. But the thing about the Rodecaster Pro, it's just a few buttons that you need to click and it works really, really beautifully. So let me know if you have a Rodecaster Pro or if you are thinking of getting one. But let's go back and hopefully you can see this okay. Okay, so this is the Rodecaster Pro. I've only just reconnected it again. And at the moment, you can see microphone number 1 is working. That is me. That is my Heil PR40 is plugged directly into the back there. Hopefully you can see. And then at the front, that's where my headphones are going in as well. Okay, so let's go through the different ones. You've got 4 microphone inputs, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you are interviewing guests, then that's great because and they are not remote. They are actually in your studio, in your house, or in your premises. Then you can plug up to 4 microphones into there, which is cool. Now the next one is, you can see that there's a little USB symbol. And this is basically sounds from your computer. So when I do for example, the timpani roll, you should see that sound coming up. This is a sound from my computer coming into the Rodecaster Pro. Can you see that there? Okay, so that's not terribly loud. Let's put that up a bit. Okay, so apologies if I blast you now, but this is again the same timpani roll. I've just put the level up right, not quite to max, but almost. There we go, that's better. Okay, cool. Okay, then the next one that you see is got a little picture of a phone. And at the back, it's a little cable there. Now that little cable is going, let's see if I can find it. One sec. Aha. Right. So on this end, I've then got it in, because I'm an iPhone user, I've then got it plugged in to a lightning adapter. And so I can then basically pick up sounds from my phone. So this is how people are, for example, they are recording Clubhouse or something similar into the Rodecaster Pro. They're recording it for later. So that's what that one is. It works really well. I've used that sometimes. And then the next one is this one here, which is Bluetooth. And so you can actually connect your phone via Bluetooth or wirelessly. I've only used that a few times, but it works really well for that kind of thing. And then there was a final little level, and this is for these little buttons here. So these are sound pads, and like the Stream Deck, so if I go over here, I've got all these different sounds that I'm playing, but over here, you can assign different sounds. So this could be, for example, your podcast music, and these are the presets in the Rodecaster Pro. So for example, that one, that could be your intro. I don't want that one. Some canned laughter. Yeah, shut up. Or maybe some crickets. And can I just say, one thing you need to be really careful is not to inadvertently hold down these buttons, because I think I was on a call. I don't know whether it was me or somebody else who had a Rodecaster Pro, but they basically put something down on those buttons, and we heard crickets all the way through our chat, and we couldn't work out where it was coming from. So yeah. So that is on a very basic level what the Rodecaster Pro does. But the thing I really love about the Rodecaster Pro is the ability of processing. Now, I've just realized one thing. Okay. I'm here. Rodecaster Pro's over here. Microphone's here. Let's see. Okay. I don't want to drag it because this is one of the things I'm going to have to work out. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. What could possibly go wrong? Okay, so. No, that's not what I want to do. I want to do this. I always get this wrong. I want to go to 1. Yes. So what I want to show you now is the audio processing. So I press number 1, and then you'll see there I can change the level. I can change what kind of voice type I am. So, for example, you know, the tone and the strength of my voice. Do you have a strong voice or a quiet voice? I'm just going to leave those the same. But let's go to audio processing. So I've got it all switched on at the moment. Let's just go through all of these. What I'm going to do, I'm going to switch them all off, and then I'll go through them all one by one so that you can see them. Actually, I didn't need to do that. I just should have just pressed processing. But okay, so this is the sound of just the Heil PR40, me and my Heil PR40, without any processing on there at all. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to switch on the compressor. Now, what the compressor does, let's go back to my camera. What the compressor does is it makes the difference between our louds and our softs, our louds and our quiets in our voice, of the volume basically of our voice, it makes it less distinct. So if I, for example, at the moment, if I go speak at this level, that's quite quiet. And if I speak at this level, it's very loud. And so what the compressor does, it puts those closer together, because what we don't want is to deafen people or to be too quiet. So the compressor, first of all, compresses the sound. So let's do that. Okay, so that is the compressor. So I don't know whether you can hear any difference there, but yes, if I speak very quietly and if I speak very loudly, there should be less of a difference between those. So that's the compressor. Okay, let's go back. Right, so the next one, if I go over here, come on, let's work. It's going to work. Ah, there we go. There we go. So the next one is the high pass filter. Let's put that on. And what that does is it just gets rid of any... Oh, it's not done it. Aha. I know why. There's a bit of a delay on that. Let's go back. So anyway, that is... I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to show you. I'm just going to press it because it's a bit too much of a juggle for me. So that's the high pass filter. Basically gets rid of any low rumbles. So if you've got like air conditioning units or fans or something like that, then it will get rid of that. So I don't know whether you can hear the difference. That's it off. And that's it on. Let me know if you can hear a difference between those two. Okay, then the next one is the De-Esser. So I'm going to do lots of sausages. Did you have any sausages for breakfast? So the De-Esser basically just gets rid of all those horrible S's. So breakfast, sausage. Yeah, don't know if you can hear the difference. Now, the next one is the noise gate. So if I stop speaking now, you're probably, even with the high pass filter, you probably will hear some sound. You'll hear maybe some fans or background noise. So I'm going to stop speaking. Let me know if you can hear anything in the background now. Okay, could you hear anything? Now, it depends on what you're listening. If you were listening with headphones, you've got more of a chance of hearing some of that background noise. If you're just watching maybe on your phone, through your speakers, you might not have heard anything. Now, I think it's important to get rid of that background noise for your live streams, but it's even more important for your podcast listeners. So if you're repurposing, that's what we've been talking about on the show, repurposing your live shows into a podcast, then I think a noise gate is going to really help you if your room is not sound treated and there's a bit of background noise going on. So here we go with the noise gate on. I'm going to keep on speaking after I've clicked on the noise gate, and then I'm going to stop speaking. Let me know if you can hear the difference. So I'm going to put it on. Okay. The noise gate is now on. So while I'm speaking, what is happening is that the noise gate is letting sound through. But as soon as I stop speaking and there's no noticeable sounds, then the noise gate is going to close and you'll hear utter silence. So here we go. I'm going to stop speaking with the noise gate on. So hopefully there was absolute silence there, which is really cool. I love this. Hassan is saying, what is he saying? Excuse me. Noticeable differences with the Rodecaster. Love it. It is awesome. And Katie Simpson is saying, sounds better on. Yes, I would agree. Okay. There are two other ones. The next one is the oral exciter. It's a bit of a strange phrase, but basically what that does, it just adds a bit more resonance, a bit of brightness to your voice. Now, I don't know whether there is much of a difference here. I'd love to know from you. Can you tell me whether you can hear much of a difference when I put the oral exciter on? Oops, excuse me. I will try not to knock my microphone. Okay, here we go. Okay, the oral exciter. Oh my goodness, I can hear the difference. Yes, there is a lot more. There's brightness to the sound. Brightness to the sound. Let's switch it off. Okay. Yeah, my voice is a little bit more dull. Would you not agree? And when I put that on, it gives you that kind of radio announcer kind of sound. Like this. Hello, my name's Ian Anderson Gray, and welcome to Podcast Now with Restream. Yes, it just gives you a bit more brightness to the sound, resonance, which is great. And then the final one, which is totally optional, is to add a bit more bass to your voice. And it's called Big Bottom. Sounds a bit rude, but let's put Big Bottom on and let's hear the difference with Big Bottom. Okay, this is Big Bottom. I'll just try and speak normal. So yeah, Big Bottom. So I think there is a little bit more bass to it. Bass. And I really like that. So that isn't it all on now. So the Rodecaster Pro, totally optional. You can get some of this stuff using something like the DBX286S. It's a little bit less straightforward, but it's great. So do check out the Rodecaster Pro. And it's great for podcasting. It's great also for your live streams. Carl is saying, yes, the sound of silence. And because I trained as a classical singer and a musician, I kind of know these things. But there was a composer, an American composer called John Cage. And I think actually a lot of people know this. So I'm going to ask you this question. What is the name of John Cage's piece, which is Total Silence? Katie Simpson is going to know this, but let me know what it is. He wrote a piece of music, which was Total Silence. And yeah, I think I could play it really well on the Rodecaster Pro. Although, having said that, one of the reasons he composed that piece was to make a philosophical point that there is actually no such thing as silence, that you'll be able to hear your heart beating or birds singing in the distance and stuff like that. So the Rodecaster Pro gets rid of all of that. So not sure that John Cage would be that happy with that. Katie Simpson says podcasting and John Cage. Yeah, it's oh, you're so close. 3 minutes something. It's actually 4 minutes and 33 seconds. 4 minutes and 33 seconds. There is a YouTube video. You can actually watch that. So if you're a bit bored later, just search for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Physics Camp is here. Great to see you watching on YouTube. I think mid-range frequency to be cut off to get best results, but it depends on the voice and the mic also. And yes, so I think that the basic settings in the Rodecaster Pro will work with most voices, and certainly if you're beginning with this, you don't really want to mess around with that. So it works fine. It works fine. But I think you're right, Physics Camp. And what you can do, there is advanced settings in the Rodecaster Pro that will allow you to tweak those kind of things. And it depends on your voice. This is why microphones, getting the right microphone for your voice and the right settings is very much a personal thing, and you have to work out what works for you. This microphone, this setup works well for my voice, so you got to work it out for you. Katie Simpson, I'm not impressed. It's not your favorite piece. 4 minutes 33 seconds. Oh dear, we're gonna have to chat. I'm joking, but it does make me laugh. I do quite like weird music like that. Yes, 4 minutes 33 seconds. Well done, Carl. So any other questions when it comes to all of this? Let me know. Are you thinking about getting a Rodecaster Pro? Are you thinking about getting a nice microphone like this? Let me know. I'd love to know. And have you got a sit-stand desk? I'm very excited about that. And that brings me on to this, because I think it's time to stand up, because I don't know. It is. So here we go. I'm going to stand up now. I don't know whether you can hear that in the background, but the Rodecaster Pro is kind of getting rid of some of those sounds. So you didn't really get the whole sound of the desk standing up there. But Carl Googled it. He Googled 4 minutes, 33 seconds, but I'll forgive you. Physics Camp, thank you so much for these comments and questions. Another thing I noticed, different headphones sounds different. Start again. Let's see if I can read, okay? Another thing I noticed, different headphones sounds different frequencies with different amplitude. I'm probably not reading that correctly, but I think what I'm hearing from you is that obviously headphones are different as well. It kind of depends on how much of an audiophile you are on this. I would say that start with the best that you can do. So start, and it also depends on your budget. So I started with a Blue Yeti microphone. The sound wasn't amazing. I had lots of echo, but I started off, and that's how I got into the live streaming world. It worked really well. I would probably have used the Samsung Qtu, but then about 3 years ago, I upgraded to this, and just this with the, where's it gone? Focusrite. There we go. It's in focus. The Focusrite is in focus. I'm so happy. So that's what I did. And then was it last year? I got the Rodecaster Pro. Now, of course, there's always things that I can do to improve. And so these headphones are the Bose Quiet Comfort 35 Mark II headphones. I'm sure there are better headphones. And obviously, the thing I would suggest is that to remember is that everyone is going to be listening to or watching your show in different situations. Some will be listening through your phone, through the phones, and so the quality is not going to be like amazing. But if you can have a lot, more compression on your voice, mid-range, that's going to work a lot better. But just think about that in that way. Katie is saying I can hear a squeaky sound. That was probably the Frisker desk moving up as well. Yes and yes. Yes and yes and yes, Martin is saying. I'm not sure which thing you were referring to, but Katie's saying, to Carl, cheat. Yeah. Well, there we go. Okay, great question. I'm not sure who this is, so I can't see who you are. What about a lavalier mic? And yes, okay, so I have talked about this before, but just very briefly before we finish, the microphones I've been talking about, well, this microphone and the Samsung Qtu microphone are dynamic microphones. And I particularly like those because if you have an untreated room, for example, I don't have any acoustic piles. That sounds... that doesn't sound very nice. Acoustic tiles is what I meant to say. Acoustic tiles. I think a dynamic microphone is better because what a dynamic microphone does, it picks the sound just from in front of you. So it gets less of the echoes around you. So a dynamic microphone is what I'd recommend. Now, the Blue Yeti microphone is a condenser microphone. So again, what I'd recommend with that is to put the gain down and bring it right close to you. But I'd love to ask you this question. Are you a fan of the microphone in shot like I have, or do you prefer it completely out of shot? Because there's a compromise to be made. Now, I actually really like the microphone in shot. I've got my bit of branding there with my mic flag. It suits me really well, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. For you, you might want to have it completely out of shot. And in that case, you need to go for a different option. There are a couple of different options open to you. First of all, there's the lavalier microphone option. The other one is the shotgun microphone option. And so I would suggest for most people, the lavalier microphone is probably the quick and easy way of doing it. And you could get something like the Boya BY-M1. It's very inexpensive. And you can just clip it onto you can plug it into your computer. You can even plug it with an adapter into the Rodecaster Pro, something that I'm going to be playing around with very soon. And yeah, it's very, very subtle. It's not, you don't really see it when you're in shot. So yeah, lavalier mics are great. They're great for that portability. But the other option, of course, is a shotgun microphone. And you just have that out of shot, but directing at your mouth. So you have it as close to you as possible, but out of shot. And they're good too. You just need to be careful with these that they will still pick up whatever's in front of you. So you need to be careful. If you're banging the table or tapping, you just need to be careful of that. But the great thing about those microphones is they're out of shot. I personally would say the dynamic microphones like this will give you a much better audio quality if you're going to be repurposing it into a podcast. So if podcasting is part of your thing, then dynamic microphone. Unless you have a really amazing soundproof, sound-treated room, get one of the higher-end condenser microphones. But the shotgun mic, the lavalier microphones are both condenser type of microphones, so they tend to pick up a bit more background noise. I hope that makes sense. Let's have a look. Physics Camp is saying, probably going to say something much more helpful. Physics Camp is good for lecturing. Yeah, totally agree, but not while podcasting or streaming. Yeah, if you want the best quality audio, I would agree with you. But some people just prefer to have the microphone out of shot. And for that, I totally get you. You know, you can get good lavalier microphones. And so, yeah. Martin is saying, yes to desk, yes to microphone, yes to Rodecaster. Love it. Yeah, totally agree. Mandy is saying, let's have a look. Do you pay for these sites? I don't know. Which sites are you talking about? Let me know which sites are what I'm talking about, and I'll happily help you. Okay, so out of shot. You prefer out of shot, okay? And Nancy is here. Great to see you, Nancy, watching on LinkedIn. Awesome. And no visible headphones. Okay, so sorry if it seems to be a bit of a delay. This is why I need my Mac M1, which I'm gonna be ordering soon. So no visible headphones. Now, normally I don't wear these big headphones like this, but for the Podcast Now one, they're just so comfortable. I love them. So where is it? Okay, I don't have them here. One sec. Okay, I'll get them for next week. But the ones I recommend, in fact, if you go to this iag.me/gear guide, the ones I recommend are the M6 headphones. Now, for a solo show like this, I don't really necessarily need to wear these because I can. I haven't got a guest that I'm going to be listening to, but I still like it because I want to hear the sound effects that I'm playing with. For example, that. Now, if that was coming out of my speakers, I could potentially be getting some echo and some feedback, and I want to avoid that. So I do think wearing headphones or earphones is really important. But what you can do is get ones that are much more subtle that you don't see, like the M6. And so they're transparent, and you could just plug them into your ears and the cable goes behind you. So that is something, yeah, if you want it out of shot. And also, lavalier microphones are great if you're going to be doing a lot of moving around. Probably you want a wireless microphone for that, though, I think. So let's have a look what Nancy is saying. I don't mind seeing microphones at all. I can speak into the side of mine so that it is placed a few inches to the side. It's a Yeti, meaning I can still look directly at the camera without anything in the way. Yeah, so with this microphone, I do need to have it fairly close, but with something like the Blue Yeti, you can have it a little bit further away from you, and you've got a bit of a compromise there. So, yeah. And Sam is here watching. What are you watching on Facebook? I'm going for the Heil in shot. Awesome. I think for you, Sam, that would make perfect sense because audio, voice is everything. It's not everything, but it's part of what you do. So, what's Mandy saying here? I'm maybe Scottish. I mean, for expert. I'm not sure what they mean by that. And thank you, Nancy. And Mandy is saying, what are you saying, Mandy? Also, do we pay for Restream? So yeah, Restream has a free plan, and it's a great way to just get started with Restream. You can broadcast to your personal Facebook, YouTube, and things like that. It works really well. If you want to take things to the next level, if you want to use this for your business, if you want to broadcast to your Facebook business page and groups, then you want to go for one of the paid options. And by the way, you can get, if you go to iag.me/Restream, where's it gone? Where's it gone? There's the button. You get a whole month free. So yeah, definitely check that out. It's a good discount for you there. We all love a good discount. So check that out. We are at the end of the show. We've got Paul Duke is here in the house. Great to see you, Paul. What's happening? It's not coming up on the screen. I can't read your comment. Never mind. But you're watching. I'm a Restream user in Vancouver, Canada. Awesome. It must be quite early in the morning for you. I'm an English instructor and host a weekly live show called Hard Boiled English. I love that. That's really cool. Great. So great to see you, Paul. Thank you so much for joining. But unfortunately, we are out of time. And so I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks, I'm still listening out to hear back from a couple of people, exciting people onto the show. We've had some great guests recently. We've had Mike Russell from Music Radio Creative talking about how to sound awesome. We've had Mark Asquith talking about how you can host your podcast and publicize it and get it out there. It is awesome. And I'm hoping to have a couple of other people coming on reasonably soon to talk about some other cool things. So definitely check that out. And I'll be sharing a little bit more about my studio. There's still some things that I need to work out, such as having my other earphones close by and, yeah, upgrading my computer. Definitely. Let's have a look what you're saying, Paul. I used to be a private investigator, so I'm playing with that. I love that. It's a great sound. And you do not need to apologize, Paul. It's absolutely fine. It's just great that you're here. And hopefully you can come next week. So it'll be, if you're in Vancouver, that will be 9 a.m. for you. I assume it's 10 a.m. for you. So yeah, it's 9 a.m. every Tuesday in Pacific time, which is 5 p.m. in the UK and 12 noon Eastern. So there you go. So I've just realized that my teleprompter, I've not used it at all. I need to go to the bottom so I can actually remember what my last bit is. I think I've talked about everything. Advantages of a sit-stand desk, lighting, microphones, mixers. I've talked about everything. I've talked about removed house. That's good. I've remembered everything that I was going to say in the show, which is great. Do check out the other shows on Restream. There's a show literally every single day. There's loads of cool stuff. Do check that out. And let me know if you have any questions. Do connect with me on the socials and also follow and like the Restream channels. But that is it for this week. And I will see you next week. And I want to leave you with this. I want to encourage you to launch your podcast. Not last week, but now. What are you waiting for? I'll see you next week. Toodaloo.